How are you doing? I hope you are doing all right in the lockdown because that is the best that we can do in the lockdown right now, right? Somebody asked me yesterday, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm okay." Well, that's the best you can do in lockdown. You can be okay as long as you're okay and you're fine and you're getting through this period. We will get through it, and there's life on the horizon. We don't know how far the horizon is. All right, so the reason I am making this video and I'm on video right now is because I thought a lot of people talk about writing books. A lot of people have this burning desire in them to write a book, and they don't know how to approach it. They don't know how to approach writing a book. They don't know how to approach writing. They don't know how to approach publishing later. So as someone who has written a book, has published a book, and has been read by a lot of people, and I've written a bunch of books. One of them is out. It's called Happiness in Your Skin. And I thought I'll make this video and I'll share whatever I know about writing books, about publishing, whatever I know. And yeah, so hopefully people who want to write books will get to learn something from this video, right? So let's get into it straight away. So this is the book that is out in the market. Okay, the camera angle is bizarre, so I don't think you can see this properly because if you invert the camera like this. So it's called Happiness in Your Skin, and that's the book that I have written. And I wrote this book over a period of time. I think it took me some time to write it. I wrote this sometime in 2018 and 19, somewhere between there. I mean, I started writing, I guess, in 2018, and I think I finished it in 2000. I don't remember. But I think I wrote it over bursts of two bursts of writing. So when I initially wrote the book, I wrote about 3,000 words, and then at some point I told myself, fine, this time I'm going to finish the book. So this is what I'm going to tell you about writing. If you want to write a book, you need to know what kind of book you are going to write. If you see the thumbnail in this video, the best way to write a best-selling book, or the best way to write any book, is to put words on white sheets, right? So you take a Word document and you write. Okay, that's how you write. That's how you start writing. All right, a lot of people keep saying all the time that they want to write a book, but they never get down to doing it. I mean, if you never get down to writing the book that is inside of you, you will never have that book. I mean, the only way to actually write a book is to actually write a book, right? So but once you've decided, right, once you've decided how to approach, or what kind of book that you want to write, so the different steps, right? So for this book, I had this thing in mind that I want to write a book on happiness. Why did I want to write a book on happiness? Because I felt that there were not many books in the market which around the world, right? They're not I have read a lot of books. I have read personally a lot of books. If I can switch the camera right now, I can show you that's my bookshelf, and that's only some of the books that are there. I have even hundreds of more books, and I've been a reader most of my life. I've read a lot of books, and I've read a lot of self-improvement literature. Most of the stuff that I've read has been non-fiction. Most of the stuff that I read has been non-fiction, because every reader also has a purpose, just like every writer has a purpose when they're writing books. Even every reader has a purpose. So for example, people who read fiction books largely, right? So if you read fiction, if you're a fiction reader, then you read largely for entertainment. Because the books that are in the genre of thrillers or romantic or even humor, which are they're not many humor-based books in the world right now. There are very few authors, even including myself. I have been thinking for many years to write a book which is based on humor, fictional, but I've not been able to write it. Robert Ludlum or Jeffrey Archer or Stephen King, people who read fiction authors or even the mythology authors in India, like Kevin or like Amish, right? People who read these kind of books, they read them for entertainment, right? So fiction is an entertainment genre, right? People who read fiction, they read it because they want to be entertained. They want to read through a story, and they want to just a gripping story, something that keeps them hooked to the entire book, and that's why they read fiction. People who read non-fiction, like me, people like me who have mostly read non-fiction throughout their lives, they do read from a point of learning something from the book. Like, my approach to reading all my life has been to learn something from the book. I've always, even if I've read fiction, for example, Ayn Rand, for example, all the works of Ayn Rand, besides The Virtue of Free Will, the virtue of selfishness. That's the book. The Virtue of Selfishness, I believe, is a non-fiction, if I remember correctly. But most of her work, like Atlas Shrugged, which I have here, Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, which are her most famous works, they are fiction. I mean, Ayn Rand wrote fiction, and I have read all of her work. Although her work is fiction, but there's so much that you can learn from the way Ayn Rand wrote her books. I mean, it's incredible that every line, every dialogue, every character is so intense in Ayn Rand's work that it happened to define my writing. When I wrote a fiction, I have written a fiction also. It's a love story which is not published because I couldn't find a traditional publisher for it, and I'll hopefully self-publish that also. It's called The Unlikely Couple. It is a story of a girl who is a protagonist, and she goes through a series or a couple or two or three relationships, and they are unlikely relationships. Those relationships should ideally not exist by the standards of the society or by the standards of anyone, right? Those the way the society deems relationships. Those relationships shouldn't exist. But the idea of my book is that love is over everything. So there's an underlying thought in the entire. It's about a 50,000 word plus book, right? So that is the difference. Ideally, that is a precise difference between non-fiction and fiction. I hope I made that clear. Fiction is for entertainment, and non-fiction is for learning. Non-fiction is usually based on facts. Not usually, it's always based on facts. So you need a lot of research, you need references, you need stories which are real, right? Because you're not making anything up like you are while you are writing fiction, right? So let's say for the purpose of this video, since I'm talking about happiness in your skin, let's say you want to write a non-fiction, right? If you want to write a non-fiction, how do you write a non-fiction? How do you approach writing non-fiction? So if you want to write a non-fiction, it is very important that you know that what you're writing about, right? So the subject, that has to be very clear in mind. I wanted to write about happiness. And the reason I wanted to write about happiness was because I feel that's the most important thing in the world. I feel happiness is the purpose of human life, although it is difficult to find for some reason, but it's difficult. Like, very few people in the world attain the kind of happiness that I mentioned in Happiness in Your Skin. Even I haven't achieved the kind of happiness that I have written in Happiness in Your Skin. The book has all the theory that one needs to act to be able to find the kind of happiness that I've written in this book. So I wanted to write about ideal utopian happiness, right? I wanted to write about happiness which all of us should aspire towards. The happiness which makes us feel that life has meaning and life has purpose, and we feel connected to what we do. We feel connected to the people that we spend time with on an everyday basis, right? That is the kind of book that I want to write. So so that is what you need to decide first. So what are you writing about? What is your book going to be about? And once you have an idea about what your book is going to be about, then you have to structure your book, right? So it's very important that you think about structuring your book, right? So for example, look at it if you work in the corporate world, as let's say you have to write a presentation, right? And sorry, this thing is quite loose. So let's say you are in the corporate world and you have to write a presentation. So how do you go about thinking about a presentation? You open a PPT file, and you maybe I remember I used to do this quite often. I would, in case I'm not very sure about how the presentation will look like eventually, I would just write down the headers on the slides. Let's say the slides are going to be 35. All those 35 slides would have certain subheadings, right? So I would write headers on the top of slides, just to give myself clarity about what is going to be in those slides, because I would have some idea about the kind of output that I'm trying to create, and so I would put in the input, the headers, where I'm going to elaborate and fill up those slides. Similarly, when you're writing a book, it's simple. It's a simple analogy. So when you're trying to write a book, you need write a non-fiction. I would ideally suggest, that's my approach. Other people may have a different approach. I would ideally suggest that you structure your chapters, right? For example, when I wrote this book, I would, in case I write a non-fiction again, I would write a structure, a table of contents, right? So this is the final table of contents. It has 18 chapters, right? It has 18 chapters, and so when I was writing, when I began to write the book, I wrote down all those chapters. So initially maybe they were like 20 chapters. Then I realized that a lot of stuff is overlapping when I started writing, and then I started cutting down. I'm not sure, maybe they were like, they could have been I think there were more chapters in the beginning, because I thought that there are different subjects that I'm going to talk about and break down eventually, and everything is going to be a chapter. But then when I started writing, I realized that a lot of stuff was overlapping. So every chapter has to have a precise structure, and the information that is there in one chapter shouldn't overlap with the information in the next chapter or the previous chapter, because if it does, then one of those chapters is redundant, right? So you got to decide the structure of the book, and once you have decided the structure of the book, then you start writing. It's simple as that. So once you've decided the structure of the book, you basically just start writing the book, right? And it's very important that when you write the book, you have a discipline in your mind, because let's say at this point, if I want to write a book, I can write a book in a month. I can write any book in a month. If I want to write a fiction, if I want to write a non-fiction, I know that if I commit to myself a certain number of words, I would finish the book in that period of time, right? So so you have to commit to a certain number of words. Ideally number of words is a good idea. For example, let's say you're writing a fiction or you're writing a non-fiction, whatever it is, once you start writing and you put down, let's say one chapter is 10,000 words. Let's say one chapter is comes out to be 10,000 words. So you would, depending on your structure, let's say you have 10 chapters in your current table of contents, then you know that 10,000 into 10, your book is going to be about 100,000 words, right? So that is a very clear proof. So once you start writing and you understand that your book is going to be about 100,000 words, then you tell yourself that if you're going to finish the book in a month, you need to write about 3,300 words, right? 3,300 words a day for 30 days, you have the book, right? You finish the book. So that's the discipline that we need. Like Stephen King, you must read this book, which any writer, any aspiring writer should read. I haven't read most of Stephen King's works because he's a fictional writer. I'm not into thrill. and in horror, which is the genre he mostly writes in. But he's written a book which is a non-fiction, and I'm a non-fiction reader, so I read this book. It's called On Writing by Stephen King, and it's probably one of the best books that any aspiring writer, anybody who wants to write books should read. So because it's although the way he structured the book, it is a guide to write fiction, but there's so much you learn about writing per se, and writing anything for that matter, through that book. It's called On Fiction by Stephen King. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So you stick to a discipline, and it's in his book On Writing, he suggests writing about 2 to 3,000 words a day. But every writer may have their own ideas about how much they can write in a day, right? For example, I feel that my threshold, I can comfortably write 2,000 words a day. If I'm writing non-fiction and the book is clear on my mind, what I'm writing is clear on my mind, I can comfortably in a matter of 3 to 4 hours, yeah, about that or maybe more, I can write 2,000 words a day. If I'm writing fiction, even then I can write about 2,000 words. So 2,000 words looks like a good number to me. It doesn't feel small. It doesn't feel like a lot. And if you write 2,000 words a day, then, and if your book is, let's say, 100,000 words also, you need what? You need about 50 days, right? So you need about a month and a half, and you're done with the book. So you have to decide what your threshold of writing is, how many words in a day can you put down. But you have to do it every day. I would really suggest, let's say you have to write a book, you commit to daily writing. So if your book is 100,000 words, commit to 50 days of writing. Just commit to 50 days blocked of writing, right? Weekends, weekdays, whatever, doesn't matter. The day doesn't matter, because it's very important that you maintain the momentum. Because writing books is, to me, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's different from writer to writer, but writing books is about momentum. So let's say you're writing fiction, right? In fiction writing, even it's more important, because the story is developing in your mind. The story doesn't exist in the world. It's fiction, right? You're creating that story every day. You're imagining it. You're thinking about it every day. And if you lose touch for a day, then you might forget where one of the characters was, what the character was doing, what the other character was doing, what the place was like, how's it feeling, how's it looking, because there is so much detail that goes into fiction writing. You have to describe the scene, you have to describe the character, you have to describe a lot of things, which you don't have to do in non-fiction. However, also in non-fiction, when you're writing, let's say you finish writing today and you take a day off, then you lose the momentum a bit, because you're writing in a flow. You wrote 2,000 words and you feel good about it, and then next day if you take it on, and there's a momentum that's going on, and so if you break the momentum, I don't think it's a good idea. So I would suggest committing to a schedule of writing about 2,000 words a day for X number of days, till your book is finished. Don't take it off. If you're committing to writing a book, don't take it off till the book is finished, right? So this is how I wrote it. So once I'd written 3,000 words, I took a break. Then the book stopped. It wasn't written for a long time. Then I took upon myself next year to write the book, and I told myself within a month I'll finish it. So I committed to a month, and I had a feeling this would be about 30-something thousand words, and eventually came to about 32,000 words, right? So I wrote chapter after chapter, and yeah, so it was written, right? And once the book is written, once the first draft is ready, let's say you've done it, you've committed to your schedule, the first draft is only the first draft, right? So it's very important that to understand that once you've written the first draft, that's not the book. Once you've written the first draft, that's only the first draft, right? There's a reason it's called the first draft. So once you've written the first draft, after that you have to edit it. You have to find people you trust who are good readers of books, who like to read books. You may need to send it to some friends who may proofread for you, who may read it to figure out, who may read the book to figure out if there's depth, if there's Cohesion is a very important word. Cohesion is a very important word in book writing. Cohesion means, especially in fiction, if the story is flowing smoothly from one chapter to another chapter, from one scene to another scene, is the narration clear? Are the characters coherent? I know I'm drifting between non-fiction and fiction, because there's clearly a difference between non-fiction and fiction writing. And even in a non-fiction, there is cohesion required, which means that if you said something in the previous chapter, are you moving to the next point? Is it seeming like a logical transition, or seems like a jump, right? So cohesion is perhaps the most important word which somebody would like to evaluate when reading a book, when reading a draft of the book. So you'll need to get the book edited. There would be multiple rounds of editing, and then after some point you will feel that the book makes sense now, and it's at a point where you like it, where you like the draft. So there'll be 2-3 drafts, and you at that point you may realize, okay, I like the book now, and I want to send it out to people. Send it out. So let's talk about when you have the book ready, right? Let's talk a bit about publishing. What do I know about publishing? So publishing is of two kinds, right? This book is called we had a bit of an interruption there. So this book has been published by Calamos, and Calamos is a partner publishing or a self-publishing platform. Now if you want to self-publish a book, you can do it yourself. Self-publish is when you invest everything that's needed to publish the book. You get it printed, you get the typeset copy which goes to the print, you get the final copy. You basically are responsible for everything from the creation to the marketing of the book. As far as I'm concerned, I took the help of Calamos to get the book created, right? And distributed. So they helped me create the book into a book format, and print it and distribute it, right? So I hired them, and they helped me do it, right? So you basically invest the cost in creation of the book. The other form of publishing is traditional publishing, which is the ideal publishing that most of the writers want to go for, at least have wanted to go for all this while, because traditional publishers have a lot of marketing strength, they have the distribution strength, they can help the authors reach out to markets they can't reach out themselves. But the problem with traditional publishing is that if you're starting out as a writer, nobody's interested in you. So I've written 5 books. One is a short story, Happiness in Your Skin is a non-fiction. Then there's a poetry book, there's a philosophy book which is again a non-fiction, and there's a pure fiction called The Unlikely Couple, which I spoke about. And I haven't found a publisher yet. I haven't found a traditional publisher who has been interested in me, so I chose to get this book out, and a lot of people have loved it. So I feel it's a decision that I made right, and eventually have a book out, because a lot of authors in the world, a lot of writers die with their books unpublished, and I'm going to publish the rest of the 4 books also in some time, because I want people to read my books. If you write something, you want your books to be read, right? Why would you write books which, I mean, unless you get feedback and unless you feel there's value in what you've written, what's the point? I mean, to me, I mean, and maybe other people, there are people who write for themselves and they don't care if somebody reads their work. I care that my work is read, right? So it's important to me that my work is read, right? So that's the other form of publishing. So, but if in case you want to get your book traditionally published, ensure that you're a celebrity, and the moment you release the book, people would want to buy a book because it's written by you, right? So people read books because they're written by certain authors who are already famous, who already have certain value in the market. They're already certain sort of celebrities, and so publishers want to work with those people because they don't have to do much work there, because the books will sell themselves, right? So establish some credibility there, which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm trying to establish authority as a writer. So once this channel grows and more people know about me, I hope my books will sell more than they do, because I think Happiness in the Skin should be read by every person in the world, because who doesn't want happiness? That's the reason I wrote this book, because I thought everybody wants happiness, and everybody who reads this book, I guarantee, will love it and will find some sort of happiness, find ways to be happier in their life when they read Happiness in Your Skin. Alright, so that is largely the process of writing and publishing briefly. I hope you write. So in case you have books inside of you, please write, because it's sad that you have something inside of you, don't express it. If you have paintings inside of you, paint. Do whatever is there inside of you. Don't let it die inside of you. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments if there's any other aspect of writing that you want me to talk about, and I'll definitely try to make another video. Thank you. Bye.